When I arrived with my daughter to meet her fiancé, and in-laws, they opened the door and said, "Oh, here comes our beggar father-in-law." The groom added, "I hope you'll wear a different suit to the wedding. This one looks like it came from the trash." They didn't know that I was the owner of the company where they worked. My response was short and clear. "You're fired." But that was just the beginning. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. I fed the parking meter 4/4 and adjusted my Timex. The watch cost me $3 at a church sale in 1987. Still keeps better time than most people's promises. The doorman at the Young's building gave me the look. You know the one, like I'd wandered in looking for a bathroom. I nodded at him anyway and headed for the elevator. 23rd floor. Velma had texted me the apartment number twice, like I might forget. The sweater was gray. Walmart, maybe Target. The khakis had a coffee stain near the pocket from 2 weeks ago. My shoes were scuffed. The whole outfit was deliberate. I call it the invisibility test. Wear something plain, see who treats you like a person and who treats you like furniture. Velma opened the door before I knocked. Her smile was tight. "Dad, hi, come in. They're so excited to meet you." Then Wilma appeared behind her. 62, blonde hair shellacked into place, wearing enough jewelry to fund a semester at a state school. Her eyes did a sweep. Shoes to sweater. 3 seconds. "Oh, here comes. Velma, honey, your father's here. DeWitt, Barton, come meet come meet him." A laugh erupted from deeper in the apartment. Male, loud, the kind that owns every room it enters. DeWitt Young stepped into the foyer. 34, polo shirt, arms crossed like he was protecting something valuable. Me, I guess. Wow, so this is him? I mean, Velma showed us photos, but an older man appeared next, silver-haired, uncomfortable. Barton. He started to say something, but Wilma cut him off. "Oh, don't be rude, Barton. Come in, come in. We don't judge people by their circumstances." I stepped inside. White marble floor, modern art on the walls, the kind that costs 5 figures and means nothing. Velma disappeared toward the kitchen, probably fleeing. DeWitt was still grinning. "Just hoping you've got something better for the wedding, man. That sweater looks like it came from a dumpster." Funny thing about dumpster diving, you learn to spot real trash pretty quickly. "Where do you folks work again?" I kept my voice conversational. Velma mentioned something about finance. Wilma's posture straightened. Pride does that. "Silvercrest Financial Group. I'm director of compliance. Barton is regional supervisor. DeWitt manages the mid-level accounts team." "Silvercrest?" I nodded slowly. "Right. Thornton Executive Search placed all 3 of you." DeWitt's grin faltered. "What's Thornton Exec? Wait, are you saying—" "I'm saying you're fired, all 3 of you. Effective Monday." Barton's wineglass slipped. Didn't break, just hit the marble and sent red liquid splashing across their white entryway. The wine probably cost more than my sweater. At least that's what they thought. Velma rushed back in, holding a tray of cheese. "Dad, what are you— This isn't funny. You can't just— This is illegal." Wilma's voice climbed an octave. "We have contracts. Illinois is at will employment. Check your contracts. And my agency has final placement approval." DeWitt moved closer. His face had gone red. "This is abuse of power. You can't fire people because they called me a beggar, insulted my clothes." I turned toward the door. "You're right. I'm firing you because I can." Velma's hand shot out, grabbed my arm. I looked at her fingers, then at her face. She let go. "Dad, please!" I pressed the elevator button. Once, twice, 3 times. Behind me, voices rose and tangled. DeWitt was shouting something about lawyers. Wilma was crying. Barton just kept saying, "This can't be happening," like a broken record. The elevator arrived. I stepped in. The doors started to close. Velma's face appeared in the gap. "They didn't mean it." The doors shut. In the lobby, the doorman gave me a different look this time. News travels fast in buildings like this. I walked to my Honda Civic and unlocked it. My hands shook. First crack in the composure. The engine coughed twice before it caught. My phone started buzzing. I tossed it onto the passenger seat without looking. In the rearview mirror, Velma came running out of the building, waving her arms. I pulled away from the curb. The Timex showed 2:47 p.m. By Monday at 9 in the morning, 3 people would learn exactly what dumpster diving really means. Marcus Webb's face filled my computer screen at 8:15 Monday morning. He'd been HR director at Silvercrest for 6 years. I'd placed him there myself. Orville, I've got the paperwork here, but I need to ask all 3 at once. That's going to raise questions. I shifted the phone to my right hand. The left one was acting up again. Joints stiff. Happens when I'm stressed. Not that I'd admit it. Performance reviews from the past year supported. Check the files. Marcus glanced off camera. Again. 3rd time since the call started. He kept looking like his boss was standing there with a baseball bat. He wasn't. I'd checked. I did. They're adequate. Not stellar, but adequate. At will employment, Marcus. We both know how this works. Long pause. His jaw worked. This is personal, isn't it? Is that a problem? He sighed. On the screen, his shoulders dropped. No. Your agency's placed 42 people with us in 5 years. We're not going to risk that relationship. Good talk. I closed the laptop harder than necessary. Only sign of satisfaction I'd allow myself. The termination emails went out at 11. I didn't watch them send. Just signed the documents, clicked the buttons, went to get more coffee. Found it cold. I'd been there since 6. My phone rang at 2:03. Velma. I let it go to voicemail. It rang again. And again. On the 5th call, I heard a car door slam outside. Then footsteps on my porch. The front door opened. She still had her key from college. I'd meant to ask for it back 4 years ago. Apparently today was the day I'd need it. How could you? How could you? Mascara streaked her cheeks. Her hair was a mess. She looked like she'd been crying since Saturday. Close the door. You fired them, all of them. DeWitt just called me. He's there. My wedding is in 3 months. Sit down. I won't sit down. You're destroying my life because of what? Because they made a bad joke? I walked to the kitchen and started making tea. The kettle filled the silence. It wasn't a joke. They were nervous. Meeting you for the first time. People say stupid things when... Watch this. I opened my laptop. The video file was already queued. Sunday afternoon, I'd visited the building concierge. Nice guy. 200 in cash buys a lot of cooperation. The doorbell camera had caught everything. Velma stood behind my chair. On screen, the apartment door opened. Her younger self appeared, smiling. Then Wilma. Then the words. Oh, here comes our beggar father-in-law. Velma's hand rose to her mouth. The video kept playing. DeWitt's laugh. His comment about the dumpster. Wilma's voice dripping with condescension about not judging people by their circumstances. I'd been in the kitchen getting drinks, the first time. Missed the worst of it. She watched it through once, then hit replay, stopped it on DeWitt's sneer. Dumpster. The word hung in the air. The kettle screamed. I poured water over tea bags and waited. 2 minutes passed. Just the sound of her breathing and the video's frozen frame. I didn't know it was that bad. You were in the kitchen, getting drinks. He said dumpster. He actually said dumpster. 3 times. Once at the door, once in the entryway, once when you came back with the wine. I thought you were overreacting. I slid a mug of tea toward her. She didn't touch it. Do I look like I'm overreacting? Long pause. She sank into the chair across from me. What am I supposed to do now? That's your decision. My phone buzzed. Then again. 6 messages in 30 seconds. I left it on the counter and went to put away the tea. When I came back, Velma was watching the video again. 4th time through. She kept pausing it, rewinding, watching DeWitt's mouth form the words. They'll lose the apartment, she said quietly. They can't afford it without income. Probably. My wedding was in June. I remember. Everyone's invited. 200 people. The venue's paid for. I sat down, sipped my tea. It was too hot, but I drank it anyway. You could postpone. Or cancel. That too. She closed the laptop, stared at it like it might explode. Mom would have handled this better. Your mother would have set his car on fire. Almost a smile. Almost. You miss her. Don't mention your mother. You brought her up. Fair point. My phone lit up again. I glanced at it. Unknown number. Local area code. The message preview showed on the lock screen. You made a big mistake, old man. This isn't over. DeWitt. Had to be. I picked up the phone, carried it to my collection shelf, and set it down next to a 1960s Bulova I'd bought at a rummage sale. $3. That watch still keeps perfect time. Some things you can't judge by their packaging. More buzzing. My phone danced on the shelf. 5 messages. 6? 7. Aren't you going to check those? Velma asked. No? She stood, walked to the door, stopped with her hand on the knob, opened her mouth twice without sound coming out. I need to think. I nodded. She left. I watched from the window. Her white Audi sat at the curb, idling. DeWitt had insisted she lease it. The payments ate half her paycheck every month. She didn't drive away, just sat there, hands on the wheel, engine running. My phone kept buzzing. I ignored it. At 4:37, my laptop chimed. Email notification. Facebook. I don't use Facebook, but I have an account. The algorithm thinks I want to see everything. The post was from DeWitt Young. All caps. Attention, Chicago. Business community. Orville Thornton of Thornton. Executive Search is a corrupt manipulator who uses his position to destroy innocent families. He'd capitalized dangerous like I was Batman, flattering but inaccurate. Batman had better PR. I read the whole thing. It got worse. Accusations of abuse of power, claims of ethical violations, a call to boycott my agency. At the bottom, 47 shares already. My phone buzzed again. This time I looked. Willa, my other daughter. She's in Kenya, saving lives and dodging wildlife. Villa told me what happened. Dad, really? You would have done the same thing. I would have punched him. You're more creative. That's why you're in Kenya saving lives, and I'm in Chicago ending careers. Mom would have been proud, also horrified, but mostly proud. Don't mention your mother. Too late. She's laughing in whatever dimension she's in. I put the phone down. Outside, Velma's Audi finally pulled away from the curb. Slow, hesitant, like she wasn't sure which direction to go. The Belova on my shelf ticked steadily. $3. Best investment I ever made. My phone buzzed one more time. Another message from the unknown number. I didn't read it, just watched the street where Velma's taillights had disappeared and wondered how long it would take for her to figure out what I'd known since Saturday. Some trash doesn't belong anywhere near your family. The rain started Tuesday morning. I watched it streak the windows at the gauge while Burke Patterson tapped his pen against his coffee cup. $15 coffee. He orders that when he's about to tell me something I won't like, it's his tell. You fired them. That's done. Legal, clean, defensible. Burke spread his napkin across his lap like we were having a pleasant breakfast. Why am I here? Because firing them isn't enough. The pen stopped tapping. Orville, I've known you 15 years. This isn't like you. They called me a beggar, in front of my daughter. I read the footage transcript Velma sent me. Yeah, they're assholes. Doesn't mean you need to. I'm not asking permission. I'm asking for a PI recommendation. Burke sighed, set down his cup, picked it up again. Petra Moss, former FBI white-collar division. Expensive. Thorough. Discreet. Set it up. He made the call right there. By 2 that afternoon, I was sitting across from Petra in her West Loop office. The place looked like a conspiracy theorist's dream. Whiteboards, photos, string connecting things. Except everything actually connected. Unsettling. She slid a folder across her desk. DeWitt Young, BMW 7 Series, 2023. $45,000 still owed. Payments $380 a month. He's 2 months behind. How'd you get this in 2 days? I'm good at my job. You want to know, or you want to stay legal? Point taken. She kept going. Wilma Young's credit score dropped 80 points in 6 months. Cards maxed at 30 grand. Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, Cartier. She's trying to look rich. She's succeeding at going broke. Barton's cleaner, but he's got a twice-monthly pattern at Rivers Casino. Never big amounts, but consistent. $200-300 each visit. $200 every other Tuesday at Rivers Casino. Either he had the world's most consistent lucky streak or the world's most consistent unlucky one. They need money. Desperately, I left Petra's office with the folder tucked under my arm and my head full of numbers. Back home, I spread everything across my desk. 3 piles, 1 per target. My left hand ached. Stress does that, so I switched to organizing with my right. My phone rang at 7. Willa's face filled the screen from 7,000 miles away, bright Nairobi sunshine behind her. So, Dad, how's your villain arc going? I'm not a villain. You fired 3 people for being rude. That's pretty villain adjacent. They humiliated me. They're idiots. You're not. That's supposed to be the difference. I sat down. My desk chair creaked. You think I went too far? I think you went exactly as far as Dad goes, which is, scorched earth. She grinned, but her eyes weren't smiling. Mom would have been proud. Also horrified, but mostly proud. Don't mention your mother. Too late. She's laughing in whatever dimension she's in. After we hung up, I sat motionless for 2 full minutes. The laptop glowed in front of me. Doorbell footage paused on DeWitt's sneer. I hit play, watched it through again. Dumpster! The word echoed. Willa asked if I'd bought a cape yet. I told her capes were impractical in Chicago wind. She said that was my problem. No commitment to the aesthetic. But maybe she had a point about the villain thing. My phone buzzed. Petra. Got the job application list. DeWitt hit 12 companies in 3 days. And 6 auto rejections, 3 pending, 3 want references. Who do they list for references? His old boss at Silvercrest, your buddy Marcus. He won't give a good one. Legally, he can only confirm dates of employment. But tone matters. I'll handle it. Handle it how, Orville? I stared at my phone. The typing indicator appeared, then disappeared. I set it down without answering. 11 p.m. came. I'd poured 2 whiskeys. Unusual for me, but the day had been long, and my hand still ached, and Willa's words kept circling. Villain arc. Scorched earth. I opened my email. Pulled up Petra's list of companies where the Youngs had applied. Started typing. Dear hiring manager, I feel obligated to share concerns about candidate reliability and professional judgment based on previous placement experience. Professional, vague, necessary. I sent the first one, then the second. The words came faster. Keys clicked louder. No pauses to edit, just righteous clarity. By the time I finished the 6th email, 15 minutes had passed, and I felt satisfied in a way I hadn't since Saturday. I closed the laptop, went to bed. Wednesday morning at 6:45, I woke to my phone buzzing. Email notification. Subject line, FWD. Concerns about your inquiry. Ethics question. My stomach dropped. Janet Reeves, HR Director at Mercantile Trust. Below her forwarded message, someone had written, Does anyone else find this inappropriate? Sharing with professional network for input. I sat up too fast. Head spun. Whiskey and 3 hours of sleep. Scrolled down. The email chain had 7 people on it now. 8. The number ticked up as I watched. Someone had screenshot my message. My phone rang. Burke's name. Not even 7 in the morning. Burke doesn't call before 8 unless it's an emergency. My thumb hovered over the answer button. The bathroom mirror across the room reflected my face. Pale, stubbled, older than I remembered looking. The phone kept ringing. Tell me you didn't send warning emails to 6 companies. Burke's voice filled my kitchen through speakerphone. I stood there in pajamas. Laptop open on the counter. Coffee maker burbling. The carafe wasn't in place. Coffee pooled across the granite. Please tell me you didn't sign them with your agency name and title. Burke was talking about my professional reputation imploding, and all I could think was that the coffee was going to stain the granite. Priorities. It seemed reasonable at the time. At what time? Midnight? After how many drinks? 2. Whiskeys. Jesus, Orville, don't. Just tell me how bad it is. LinkedIn bad. Viral bad. Janet Reeves at Mercantile posted it, asking if this was standard industry practice or personal vendetta. I grabbed a towel, started mopping coffee in slow motion while Burke explained. The LinkedIn post was live. Screenshot 40 times. Comments piling up. My hands shook when I opened my laptop to look. 217 reactions by 9 a.m. 48 comments. I had to steady my phone on the counter to read them. This is why I don't trust recruiters. I've been an executive headhunter for 30 years. Today I learned I'm apparently the Darth Vader of HR. 3 existing clients called by 10. Expressing concern. Code for, we're watching this closely. At 11, Diana Chen walked into my office. PR consultant, crisis management specialist. She took one look at my desk. 3 empty coffee cups, printouts of the LinkedIn post covered in red pen marks, and physically removed my phone from my hand. Stop refreshing. You're making it worse. Diana plucked my phone from my hand like I was a teenager who'd been caught sexting. I'm 68. This was humiliating in new and creative ways. She scrolled through her own phone. 217 reactions, 48 comments, 3 supportive, 12 neutral, 33 questioning your judgment. I made a mistake. You made a traceable mistake, which is the worst kind. Untraceable mistakes are just business. She looked up. What do I do? You apologize. Vaguely. I regret if my communication was misinterpreted. Classic non-apology apology. I don't. You also stop doing anything directly. No more emails. No more calls. No more paper trails. Then how do I... You already know how. You've been in this industry 30 years. Coffee meetings, conference conversations. Have you heard gossip? Industry reputations aren't built on emails. They're built on whispers. She was right. I'd known it Tuesday night, somewhere under the whiskey fog. I'd just forgotten. At 2, Petra called. Got something that'll make you smile. I doubt that's possible today. Wilma Young took out a home equity loan in 2023. $80,000. On her condo? On her sister's house. Beatrice Young Martinez lives in Oak Park. Wilma convinced her to co-sign, said it was for a family emergency medical bills. Let me guess. No medical bills. Shopping bills. That Cartier bracelet she wears, $8,000. The handbag collection, another 12. Does Beatrice know? She knows now. Wilma missed 3 payments. Bank contacted Beatrice last week. I sat up straighter. First good news all day. Where can I find Beatrice? Petra slid the documents across during our evening meeting. Home equity loan papers, payment history, collection notices, all there in black and white. Wilma had lied to her own sister, used her house as collateral, then defaulted. The shaking from this morning was gone, replaced by something colder. At 6 p.m. my doorbell rang. Process server, young guy, clipboard, bored expression. Orville Wallace Thornton, that's me. You've been served. Complaint for wrongful termination and defamation. Sign here. I signed. Steady hand. Who's the attorney? Sharon Fitzroy, DeWitt Young, Wilma Young, and Barton Young, plaintiffs. All 3 of them? He shrugged. That's what it says. Have a nice evening. I laughed. Actual laugh. Too late for that? The process server wished me a nice evening after handing me a lawsuit. Either he had incredible irony game or truly didn't care about context. I respected both options. I carried the papers to my desk, set them next to the 1960s Bulova from my collection. That watch cost $3. Still perfect. Bert called at 7:30. You got served? 20 minutes ago. Wrongful termination and defamation. Sharon Fitzroy representing. She's competent. Can they win? Wrongful termination? No. Illinois is at will. You had placement authority. Documentation is clean. Defamation? That LinkedIn situation doesn't help. What's it going to cost me? Time, stress, and probably $30,000 in legal fees. Maybe a settlement to make it go away. I'm not settling. Orville. They humiliated my daughter. Fired? That was mercy. This is what they actually earned. I hung up, stared at the lawsuit papers. Across the desk, the Bulova's second hand swept steadily. Tick, tick, tick. Mechanical, precise, patient. My phone buzzed. Text from Velma. First communication since Monday. I saw the LinkedIn thing. Dad, what are you doing? I typed, fixing the mistake. Deleted it. Typed, what I should have done from the start. Deleted that too. Another buzz. Different number. Chicago area code I didn't recognize. Mr. Thornton? This is Beatrice Martinez, Wilma Young's sister. I heard you might want to talk about Wilma. I definitely want to talk about her. I stared at the message. The Bulova kept ticking. I'd bought that watch at an estate sale in 2019. The seller thought it was broken. Orville knew better. It just needed the right person to wind it. My fingers moved across the keyboard. Outside, Chicago's evening traffic hummed. Somewhere in this city, DeWitt and the Youngs were celebrating their lawsuit, believing they'd gained the upper hand. They didn't know about Beatrice yet. They didn't know about the other things Petra was still digging up. They thought winning a skirmish meant winning the war. I'd learned better during 30 years building my agency, one careful placement at a time. I texted Beatrice back. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Do you know the gauge on Michigan Avenue? Her response came in 5 seconds. I'll be there. And Mr. Thornton, I'm bringing receipts. Beatrice Martinez's kitchen smelled like coffee and vindication. She slid a manila folder across her table, thick with bank statements, each loan payment highlighted in yellow. $80,000. That's what she took. Told me it was for Mom's cancer treatment. Your mother didn't have cancer? Mom died in 2019. Heart attack. Quick. No hospital bills to speak of? I'm sorry. She laughed. Hard, bitter sound. Don't be sorry. Be effective. That's why you're here, right? The statements told the story. Beatrice had paid every installment, drained her retirement savings to keep her house safe. Wilma had sent $200 once. She sent $200 like she was tipping a valet. I suppose she thought Beatrice should be grateful. Beatrice was grateful for clarity. I left Oak Park at 10:30, folder under my arm, and started making calls from my car. Patricia, it's Orville Thornton. Yes, too long. Listen, you've got a candidate pool lately from Silvercrest Financial? Just wanted to mention those recent departures were complicated. At-will situation, but context matters. 15 calls over 7 days. Never direct, always colleagues catching up, always the same vague concerns about professional judgment. By Thursday morning, the pattern was clear. DeWitt had applied to 23 companies, 22 auto rejections, 1 interview scheduled. I knew about that interview, Petra's surveillance work. I also knew the HR director conducting it, Stephen Rourke, VP I'd placed at the company 4 years ago. So I scheduled my own meeting. Same coffee shop, same time. Intelligentsia on Randolph, 10:45 a.m. I spent 20 minutes picking the right suit. Not the most expensive, that would be crude, but expensive enough that DeWitt would notice. Expensive enough to make a point. The Tom Ford felt different than the Walmart sweater. Felt like armor. Stephen arrived first. We shook hands, ordered coffee, settled into the corner booth. I adjusted my cufflinks. Small gesture, but DeWitt would see it if he looked. Walk me through the VP candidates, Stephen said. Before we do, I raised my voice slightly, just enough. I should mention you'll probably see some applications from candidates recently separated from Silvercrest. I can't speak to specifics, but there were professional judgment concerns. Stephen leaned forward. Thornton placed them originally, right? We did, which is why I feel responsible for flagging that placements don't always work out as hoped. Noted. Actually, I think I've got one scheduled for... He checked his phone. Right now, in this coffee shop. The door opened. DeWitt walked in wearing his interview costume, blue blazer, leather portfolio, forced confidence. His eyes swept the room and stopped on me. His coffee cup stopped halfway to his mouth. Liquid sloshed over the rim onto his portfolio. He knocked his coffee over, trying to eavesdrop. For a guy who managed mid-level accounts, he had terrible hand-eye coordination under pressure. That should have been on his performance reviews. I met his eyes for half a second. Acknowledgement and dismissal in one glance. Then back to my phone. He approached our table. Thornton. I looked up. Mild surprise. DeWitt, what brings you here? You know exactly what brings me here. Stephen shifted in his seat. Do you two know each other? My daughter was briefly engaged to DeWitt. The engagement ended. The engagement ended because circumstances changed. Stephen, this is awkward. Maybe we should reschedule? Stephen was already texting, typing so fast I thought his thumbs would cramp. Corporate executives have gotten very good at canceling things politely. It's practically an art form. Actually, yes. Let me. He stood. Orville, I'll call you later. I stayed for another 10 minutes, finished my coffee, checked my emails. DeWitt sat at his table 15 feet away, surrounded by portfolio materials, watching me. When I walked out, I didn't look back. My phone buzzed in the parking garage. Text from Petra. Interview canceled via text. He got it. In my Tesla, not the Honda Civic from that first meeting, I pulled up the ongoing surveillance report. DeWitt's bank balance, $847. BMW payment due in 6 days, $380. The math didn't work. Another buzz. DeWitt and Wilma's text chain, live feed. He was there, at the interview. Who was where? Thornton at the coffee shop, talking to the guy I was supposed to interview with. Coincidence? No, he knew. I watched the texts appear in real time. This was the moment they understood. This is him. He's blocking everything. Can he do that? He is doing that. I set the phone down, started the engine. The Tesla was silent except for the soft hum of electronics. I'd bought the car last year, paid cash. The salesman asked if I wanted to finance it. Better for my credit score, he said. I told him I didn't care about my credit score. I cared about owning things outright. That's the difference between me and the Youngs. They bought status. I bought freedom. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Mr. Thornton, this is Nordstrom Collections regarding account ending in 4702. Wrong number. That was Wilma's account. They'd gotten my contact somehow, probably as next of kin or emergency contact, from when Velma was still engaged. I deleted it. Not my problem. Then another text. DeWitt to Velma. I need time to think. Please don't contact me. Wait. Backwards. Velma to DeWitt. I'd misread it. My phone buzzed again. DeWitt's response just now. We need to talk. It's about your father's money. I sat in the parking garage for 10 minutes, watching that message. About your father's money. Not about us. Not about the relationship. About money. Petra's folder sat on my passenger seat. Inside was more than financial records. There were text screenshots from 6 months ago. DeWitt and his friend Trevor discussing Velma like she was a stock option. I'd read them yesterday, made my stomach turn. Now seemed like the right time to share them. I texted Velma, "Can you come by my house tomorrow? I have something to show you." No response. The rain had started. I drove home through Chicago's spring downpour, watching my wipers clear the windshield in rhythmic arcs. The Youngs thought they were fighting me. They were actually fighting 30 years of professional relationships, decades of careful networking, an entire industry that trusted my word over theirs. They'd brought knives to a nuclear war, and they were just now figuring it out. Wilma laid jewelry pieces across her dining table in a line. Calculator app, open. Adding and subtracting numbers that wouldn't balance. The jewelry buyer's voice came through speakerphone. Professional sympathy. The Cartier, I can do 3,800. I paid 8,200. You paid retail, I pay wholesale. That's the market. It's barely been worn. Perfect condition. Then sell it back to Cartier. Oh wait, they don't buy back. The jewelry buyer had clearly done this before. Divorced women, bankrupt executives, people who bought aspirations they couldn't afford. He had the sympathetic face down to a science. Very professional sadness. Wilma's hand clenched around the bracelet, almost refused, then slowly opened. Fine, 3,800. Behind her, Barton shuffled through mail. Bank letters, all bad news. Wilma, we've got 3 more bank letters here. Not now, Barton. This was Friday afternoon, 2 days after the coffee shop. The financial collapse had accelerated. DeWitt's apartment, West Loop. Luxury high-rise he couldn't afford anymore. He paced 17 steps wall to wall, turning sharply each time. Phone pressed to his ear. Velma, it's me again. I know you're screening my calls. I get it. This whole situation is insane. But we need to talk. Not about your father, not about the lawsuit, about us, about our future. I love you. I need you to remember that. Call me back. Please. Voicemail number 17 in 2 days. I didn't know people still left voicemails. Apparently when you're desperate enough, you'll use any communication method. Morse code was probably next. My office. Petra slid another folder across the desk. Screenshots, she said. Text messages between DeWitt and his friend Trevor, from October. I opened it, read the first exchange. Trevor, you serious about Velma? DeWitt, her dad's loaded. Executive search firm, probably worth 8-10 mil. She's the younger daughter, might inherit more than half. Trevor, so it's a financial move? DeWitt, plus she's got a steady job, not demanding. Low maintenance. Good long-term investment. Investment? He'd used the word investment. I read it twice, closed the folder, stared out my window at Michigan Avenue traffic for a full minute. How'd you get these? Do you want to know, or do you want plausible deniability? Point taken. My phone buzzed. Text exchange between Wilma and DeWitt. How much do you need? Need for what? You've called 6 times. You need money. It's not about money. Everything is about money right now. How much? Long pause. Then 25,000 would solve the immediate problems. I called Velma. She answered on the 4th ring. What? When are you meeting DeWitt? Silence. How did you... When? 6 o'clock, Lincoln Park. Why? Come to my house after. I have something to show you. Dad, I can't keep... Please, it's important. She hung up without answering. Lincoln Park, 6 p.m. I wasn't there, but Petra had someone watching. The photos came through on my phone. DeWitt and Velma on a bench. He reached for her hand. She pulled back slightly, but didn't fully withdraw. The audio file came next. Petra's surveillance was thorough. $25,000. Velma's voice. It's a loan. I'll pay you back when I get a job. When is that going to be? My father has blacklisted you. We don't know that for sure. Yes, we do. You saw him at the coffee shop. Okay, yes. But it can't last forever. And if they don't? Then we figure it out together. That's what marriage is, right? We're not married. We could be. We were going to be. The manipulation was textbook. Appeal to shared history. Promise future. Avoid present reality. 7:45 p.m. My doorbell rang. Velma stood on my porch, arms crossed, face hard. Are you happy now? Sit down, please. I don't want to sit down. DeWitt asked me for $25,000 today. He's desperate. They're losing everything. And you feel responsible? I feel like you've turned my life into a war zone. I didn't start this war. The dumpster comment? That's what this is about? A stupid joke? It wasn't a joke to them, and it's not about the comment. It's about who they showed me they are. They're scared, Dad. They're losing their homes. They showed me who they are when they thought I was nobody, when I didn't matter. I opened my laptop. The text screenshots filled the screen. Before you give him money, read these. What is this? Text messages. Between DeWitt and his friend Trevor. From October. 2 months before he proposed. She leaned forward, started reading. Her voice got quieter with each line. You serious about Velma? And DeWitt says, her dad's loaded. Executive search firm, probably worth 8-10 mil. She's the younger daughter, might inherit more than half. Keep reading. Plus, she's got a steady job, not demanding. Low maintenance. Good long-term investment. Investment. October 15th, he proposed. December 3rd. She scrolled. Her hand rose to cover her mouth. Ring costs $3,000. Should get me access to at least $1 million long-term. ROI looks solid. He calculated return on investment on our engagement ring. I poured bourbon for dramatic effect, then realized nobody was watching. Wasted good drama on an empty room. I'm sorry. You're not sorry. You wanted me to see this. I wanted you to know the truth. The truth? The truth is you destroyed any chance I had at happiness because your ego got bruised. She grabbed her purse, headed for the door, stopped halfway. Maybe he was just talking. Guys talk. There's more from January. She came back, scrolled, read aloud. Ring costs $3,000. Should get me access to at least $1 million long term. ROI looks solid. She set the laptop down, stared at it like it might explode. I need to think. She left. The door closed softly. No slam. That was worse somehow. I sat alone. The bourbon glass sweated condensation onto my coffee table. Outside, spring rain started falling. 9:47 p.m. Text from Willa. Villa called me. She's devastated. Dad, what did you do? I typed, I showed her the truth and deleted it. Typed, I protected her and deleted it. Typed, I don't know, and sent it. Another buzz. Velma, I need copies of those texts. I blinked, read it again. She wasn't defending him anymore. She wanted evidence, immediate follow-up. And anything else you have on him? Everything. Petra's folder sat on my desk. There was more. The previous engagement Petra had discovered. The pattern. DeWitt had been engaged once before. Broke it off when he discovered the woman's father was bankrupt. If I gave Velma everything, if she became part of the revenge. Her face when she read those texts. Hand shaking, voice cracking on the word investment. Third text. Dad, please. I need to know who I almost married. The rain got louder. Sound on the roof used to calm me. Tonight, it sounded like static, like interference. I picked up the bourbon, took a drink. It burned. Texted Petra, send me everything on DeWitt. The engagement history, all of it. Then Velma, come over tomorrow morning. Bring coffee. This will take a while. The rain kept falling. Somewhere in Gold Coast, Wilma was counting jewelry money that wouldn't be enough. Barton was probably at Rivers Casino, hiding. DeWitt was maybe realizing his play for Velma's sympathy had gone silent, and Velma was learning that the man she'd loved had priced her out like a commodity 6 months before proposing. I'd won. The Youngs were collapsing. Everything was working. So why did the bourbon taste like ashes? Velma arrived at 8:45 Saturday morning with 2 coffees. Hers was already half empty. Mine sat untouched on my desk, going cold while we spread Petra's initial file across the surface. The texts were bad enough, but you said there's more? There is. Petra found something yesterday. I wanted to wait until... No more waiting. Just show me. I slid the photo across. Garden party, formal attire, couple posing for engagement announcement. The woman looked like Velma. Same age, same build, same dark hair. Her name is Heather Brennan, Cincinnati. Pharmaceutical family. Velma stared at the photo. When was this? 4 years ago. They were engaged for 14 months. And 3 weeks after her father restructured his estate, cutting her inheritance due to a family dispute, DeWitt broke the engagement. Her finger traced the woman's face in the photo. The physical similarity was unsettling. I'd noticed it immediately when Petra first showed me. Same type, same target profile. My phone rang. Petra, I've got something. It's big. 10:30, Petra's office. She'd been up all night. Coffee cups covered her desk. The whiteboards behind her showed timelines, financial records, relationship patterns. Heather Brennan, age 28 at the time, now 32. Father is Roland Brennan, former CEO of Medipharm Solutions. DeWitt met her at an industry conference in 2020. Velma sat forward. How did you find this? Background check flagged an address in Cincinnati on his credit report. I started pulling threads. Petra laid out the timeline like she was briefing the FBI on a serial killer, which in a weird way she kind of was. Serial relationship killer. Does that count? 6 months dating, engagement in March 2021, wedding planned for June 2022. In April 2022, Roland Brennan had a falling out with Heather over her career choices. He restructured his estate, reduced her inheritance from $8 million to $500,000. And then, Velma's voice was barely above a whisper, DeWitt broke the engagement May 3, 2022, cited incompatibility and different life goals. That's 3 weeks, 21 days to be exact. I put the 2 engagement photos side by side, DeWitt with Heather, DeWitt with Velma. Same smile, same pose, same calculated distance between bodies. The man had a template. By 1 p.m., Wilma Young walked into the Chicago Police Department's 18th District. She dressed for the police station like she was attending a board meeting. Full designer suit, statement necklace. The desk sergeant asked if she was someone's lawyer. Detective Santos took her complaint in a small interview room. Petra had someone watching. We got the summary by 3. Mrs. Young, you're claiming Orville Thornton is harassing your family. He's destroying our lives. He fired us. He's blacklisting us from jobs. He's turning people against us. Did he threaten you physically? No, but... Has he contacted you directly since the termination? Well, no, but he's behind everything. She brought a 3-page typed complaint with footnotes. Footnotes. I've investigated actual stalking cases with less documentation. She'd clearly been planning this. Santos called me at 3. Professional voice, but I could hear the skepticism. Mr. Thornton, Wilma Young claims you're engaged in a harassment campaign against her family. I terminated their employment from a company where my agency had placement authority. That's documented and legal. Have you had any contact with them since? One accidental encounter at a coffee shop where I was meeting a client. Accidental? Chicago's a small town in some circles, detective. He went through the motions. Asked about professional influence, industry connections, my assessment process. I gave him everything. Documentation of the termination, business relationships, the nature of executive search networks. Mrs. Young seems to think you're behind their difficulty finding new employment. I run an executive search firm. People call me for references and professional opinions. I give honest assessments. Honest or vindictive? Is there a difference when the assessment is accurate? He closed his notebook by 4, called me back at 5 to say the complaint was dismissed. No evidence of illegal activity, civil matter at best, warning to both parties to maintain distance. Meanwhile, Petra had arranged the video call. 5 p.m. Velma sat at my desk, laptop open, Heather Brennan's face filling the screen from Cincinnati. When Petra reached out, I wasn't sure if I should talk. But when she showed me your photo, you look like me. Same age, same type. Velma's hands twisted in her lap. How did you meet him? Industry conference. Medifarm sponsored it. I was there representing my father's company. DeWitt was charming, funny, seemed genuinely interested in my work, not my family. How long before he proposed? 6 months. He said he knew right away, didn't want to waste time. I thought it was romantic. Velma's voice cracked. What happened? My father and I had a fight about my career. I wanted to teach. He wanted me to take over the company. He threatened to cut me out of the inheritance. I told DeWitt because I thought we'd figure it out together. And 3 weeks later, he sat me down and said we wanted different things from life. I didn't understand until my friend showed me texts he'd sent to his buddy, talking about my reduced value and cutting losses early. When Heather's face appeared on screen and she saw Velma's engagement ring photo, her recognition was immediate. Oh no, not you too. After the call ended, Velma removed her engagement ring, set it on my desk, stared at it for a full minute without speaking. I reached for it, then pulled my hand back. Didn't touch it, didn't comment. How many others? Her voice was flat. Petra's still investigating. Guess? I thought about the patterns, the gaps between relationships, the 8-year timeline. At least 2 more, maybe more. She stood. I'm going home. I need to think. After she left, I sat alone with the ring on my desk. Picked it up. 3 carats, quality cut. Expensive but not extravagant. DeWitt's calculation, impressive enough, not wastefully large. I thought about Velma's face during the Heather call, the way her voice broke, the way she removed the ring with shaking hands. I'd wanted to protect her from a bad marriage. I'd succeeded. But the cost, her faith in love, her belief that someone could choose her for herself, that was shattered now. My phone buzzed. Text from Willa. Villa told me about Heather. Dad, how many more? I typed back. I don't know yet. Another buzz. Willa, this stopped being about revenge somewhere along the way. I know. Are you okay? I stared at that question for 5 minutes. Didn't answer. Instead, I opened my laptop. Petra's full file sat in my inbox. Subject line. Complete DeWitt Young investigation, confidential. I clicked it open. The file downloaded. 83 pages. The preview showed a spreadsheet. Names, dates, engagement timelines, financial profiles. 5 rows. Cassandra Walsh, 2017. Father, venture capitalist. Engagement, 11 months. Breakup, 2 weeks after father's firm went bankrupt. Nina Pasternak, 2019. Father, real estate developer. Engagement, 13 months. Breakup, 1 month after father's health scare reduced expected inheritance. Heather Brennan, 2021. We knew her story. Yvonne Chen, 2022. Father, tech executive. Engagement, 7 months. Ended after parents divorced and assets split. Velma Thornton, 2024. Father, executive recruiter. Expected net worth, 8 to 10 million. My hands started shaking. 10:47 p.m. Text from Petra. Found something else. Checking details before I send. You're going to want to sit down for this one. Before I could respond, make that plural. Things. Multiple. My phone rang. Velma's name. Dad, I need you to set up a meeting. Me, you, and DeWitt. Face to face. That's not a good idea. Let me handle. I'm not asking permission. I want to look him in the eye when I tell him I know about Heather. And whatever else Petra's finding. I want to watch him try to lie to me. Velma, you wanted to protect me. I get it. I'm grateful. But this is my life he tried to steal. My turn now. She hung up before I could argue. Another buzz. Petra. Screw it. Sending now. Call me when you've read it. The file downloaded. Updated spreadsheet. New research notes. Timeline analyses. 8 years. 5 confirmed victims. Possibly more. Petra hadn't verified yet. I'd won. The Youngs were collapsing. DeWitt's pattern was exposed. So why did I feel like I'd lost something too? I didn't sleep Saturday night. By Sunday morning at 9, Velma was back at my dining table. We'd spent 2 hours going through every page of Petra's file when my phone rang. Marcus Webb. Sunday call meant trouble. Orville, you need to see this. Chicago Scene is running something at 2 p.m. I got a preview. They interviewed the Youngs. What kind of interview? The sympathetic kind. Cruel millionaire destroys innocent family over dinner party insult kind. Preston Keene wrote it. Preston Keene writes lifestyle content like he's uncovering Watergate. Sources say he discovered from the Youngs themselves. Investigative journalism at its finest. Let it make noise. I've got doorbell footage, financial texts, and 5 victims on record. Let them tell their story. Then I'll tell mine. 2 p.m. The article went live. Millionaire's Petty Revenge Destroys Family by Preston Keene. Velma read it aloud while I paced. Wilma Young, a dedicated compliance director with 15 years' experience, describes the devastating moment her family's lives changed forever. Quote from Wilma, "We made a social misstep, one comment, and he used his power to destroy everything we built." Keep reading. DeWitt Young, a promising young finance professional, speaks through tears. He actually cried for this guy. I loved Velma. I wanted to build a life with her. Her father decided I wasn't good enough based on my clothes and my family's income level. He's good. I'll give him that. My phone started buzzing. 3 clients within 10 minutes, each expressing concern. 3 clients called to express concern, which is corporate speak, for we're watching to see if you're still useful or toxic. I assured them I was still useful. Jury's out on the toxic. 4 p.m. Emergency meeting. Burke and Diana arrived within 20 minutes. Diana scrolled through her phone. This is bad. Your reputation's taking hits. Can we sue for defamation? Burke asked. Waste of time. We need counter-narrative now. Velma set down her coffee. Release everything. Velma? Everything, Dad. The doorbell video, the texts about me being an investment, Heather's story, all of it. Diana stopped scrolling. That's nuclear option. You'll be dragging your daughter's private life into public. My private life is already a lie. At least the truth is honest. Burke leaned forward. If we do this, there's no walking it back. Everyone will see everything. How fast can we put it together? Diana checked her watch. 2 hours, LinkedIn post, video attachments, PDF documents, written statement. I spent those 2 hours typing, revising, attaching evidence. Velma sat beside me, editing, approving, adding her own statement. I rarely respond to public criticism, but recent misrepresentations require clarification. On March 16th, I visited my daughter's fiancé's family for the first time. Within 30 seconds, they called me our beggar father-in-law and said my clothes looked like they came from a dumpster. I've attached doorbell camera footage showing the full interaction. Diana read over my shoulder. Link the texts there. I subsequently discovered that Mr. Young discussed my daughter in text messages as a financial investment with good long-term ROI. I've attached those messages. I also learned Mr. Young has a pattern of pursuing women with wealthy fathers, then ending relationships when financial benefits don't materialize. Link Heather's statement, Velma said. She gave permission. Ms. Heather Brennan of Cincinnati has provided a statement about her 2021 engagement to Mr. Young, which ended 3 weeks after her expected inheritance changed. Her account is attached. My cursor hovered over Post for 5 seconds. Velma reached over, clicked it for me. 6 p.m., the post went live. 6:30. Comments started flooding in. Velma read them aloud. Her voice shifted from tense to satisfied to almost gleeful by comment 50. This is what accountability looks like. Thank you for exposing these con artists. I feel terrible for the daughter, but proud of this father. My LinkedIn post got more engagement in 6 hours than my entire professional history combined. All I had to do was air my family's drama in public. Marketing gold. 8 p.m. Preston Keene posted an update to his article. Editor's note. Additional information has come to light regarding this situation. Mr. Thornton has provided documentation of statements made by the Young family, as well as evidence of a pattern of behavior by Mr. DeWitt Young. These materials are under review. His credibility was damaged. His followers were questioning his verification process in the comments. 9 p.m. Velma's phone buzzed. Text from her former colleague. I can't believe I worked with you for 5 years and never knew. Wait, wrong direction. That was meant for Wilma. Wrong person, Velma said, but the sentiment's spreading. My phone rang. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. The message. Mr. Thornton, this is Mrs. Patterson from Wilma's building. Several residents have expressed concerns about the situation. We wanted you to know we're monitoring things. The condo board was getting involved. That's when you know the reputation damage is complete, when the HOA gets involved. 11 p.m. My doorbell rang 4 times before I answered. DeWitt stood on my porch, swaying slightly, suit rumpled, tie loosened, eyes red. He showed up drunk at 11 p.m. to yell at me for destroying his life, because nothing says I'm the reasonable one here like drunk confrontation at someone's doorstep. I need to talk to Velma. I blocked the doorway. She's not here. You destroyed my life. You destroyed your own life. I just showed people what you did. Over a stupid comment. I called you a beggar. So what? This was never about the comment. It's about who you are. What you did to my daughter, to Heather, to Cassandra, Nina, Yvonne. He stumbled. They were different. Velma was real. Row 5, that's what she was to you. Row 5, on a spreadsheet. I loved her. You loved her father's net worth. There's a difference. He stood there swaying, mouth working but no words coming out. Finally, what am I supposed to do now? Start over, somewhere else. With someone who doesn't have a father worth $8 million. I can't. His voice cracked. Everything's gone. Job, apartment, Velma, everything. For a moment, I saw it. Genuine human breakdown. Not manipulation, not calculation. Just a 34-year-old man realizing he'd built his entire adult life on sand. Then the moment passed. I'll call you an Uber. I'm calling you an Uber. You're not driving. I used my phone. Waited with him on the porch in silence until the car arrived. Watched him stumble into the back seat. The taillights disappeared around the corner. My phone buzzed. Velma. DeWitt just texted me. Said he went to your house. Are you okay? I'm fine. He's drunk and sad. I sent him home in an Uber. You sent your enemy home safely? He's not my enemy anymore. He's just broken. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Dad, I'm ending the engagement officially tomorrow. Burke's drafting the letter. You don't have to do that publicly. I want it documented, legal, final, no ambiguity. Another buzz, unknown number. Mr. Thornton, this is Cassandra Walsh. Heather Brennan gave me your contact. I was DeWitt's first. Row 1 on that spreadsheet. I'd like to talk. Before I could process, another text. Different number. Mr. Thornton, Nina Pasternak here. I just saw your LinkedIn post. I need to tell you what DeWitt did to my family. My phone buzzed again. Yvonne Chen. Row 4. They were all emerging, all the victims finding each other through my public post. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Downstairs, a car door slammed. I looked out the window. Wilma Young's BMW parked haphazardly at my curb, hazard lights flashing. She got out, looked up at my house, saw me in the window. 62 years old, overdressed, makeup running. She cupped her hands around her mouth. Where is my son? I opened the window. I sent him home. He's safe. Safe? You destroyed him. You destroyed all of us? You destroyed yourselves. I just held up the mirror. She swayed. Whether from emotion or exhaustion, I couldn't tell. I hate you. I know. She got back in her BMW. Drove away. The hazard lights disappeared. My phone buzzed again. 5 women now in a group text. Planning to meet, to compare notes, to consider action against DeWitt. I sat in my dark living room, phone glowing. The Youngs were destroyed. DeWitt's pattern exposed. Future victims protected. But my daughter's engagement ended in public scandal. Her trust in love shattered. Thousands of strangers knew her humiliation. I scrolled through LinkedIn comments. Stopped on one. I feel bad for the daughter. She's a victim too. Velma's Facebook cover photo had changed to solid black. No caption. I texted her, "You okay?" 10 minutes later, define okay. I'm sorry this got so public. Don't be. You didn't make it public. They did. You just told the truth. Truth sucks, though. My watch collection shelf caught streetlight. 37 watches, each one a treasure someone else thought was trash. I'd always been proud of seeing value where others didn't. Tonight, I wondered if I'd seen the cost clearly enough. The text came at 2:17 Tuesday afternoon. Unknown number. This is Barton Young. Can we meet? Alone? Please. I stared at my phone for 5 full minutes. Thumb hovering over the keyboard. Delete? Block. Reply. Why? His response came immediately. Because I owe you an apology, and because I need to ask you something. Your wife and stepson know about this? No. This is just me, man to man. I named Lincoln Park, the pond. 4 p.m. Same bench where DeWitt had proposed to Velma 8 months ago. She'd told me that detail during one of our careful conversations. The location choice was deliberate, though I wasn't sure what I was trying to prove. That I have a sense of irony? That I'm petty? Both? I arrived 20 minutes early. Summer heat, families with children, joggers passing. The normalcy felt wrong. Barton appeared at 4:07, walking slowly. He'd developed a limp, new since I'd last seen him. The clothes were Target, not designer. The fall was visible in every detail. He sat heavily, leaving 2 feet of space between us. Thanks for meeting me. I almost didn't come. I wouldn't have blamed you. Why are you here, Barton? To tell you that you were right. About all of it. I don't need you to tell me I was right. I know. But I need to say it anyway. He pulled out his wallet, showed me a photo. Young DeWitt at a spelling bee, age 7, gap-toothed smile, then put it away without explaining. We treated you like garbage. You came to meet your daughter's future family, and we treated you like you were beneath us. You're not telling me anything new? I'm telling you I'm sorry. Truly, deeply sorry. I was a coward. Wilma set the tone, and I just followed along. A jogger passed, then a woman with a stroller, life continuing while mine felt suspended. I knew it was wrong, Barton said. When you rang the doorbell, when Wilma made that beggar comment, I felt my stomach drop. I wanted to say something, but I didn't. Why not? Because I've never stood up to Wilma. Not in 10 years of marriage. That's not strength. That's cruelty. I know that now. My hands clasped and unclasped in my lap. Only sign of the turmoil underneath. What about DeWitt? Where does he stand in all this? Barton's pause stretched long. DeWitt's gone. Left for Nevada 2 weeks ago. Called from a casino there. Said he's starting over, using his middle name. Has new debts already. My jaw tightened. The main target had escaped. And Wilma? She doesn't leave the apartment anymore. Doctor prescribed antidepressants. She sits in the dark most days, scrolling through old photos on her phone. The Gold Coast place, the jewelry, the life we had. He looked at me directly for the first time. I'm not here to ask for mercy. We don't deserve it. But I need to know. Is it enough? The job losses, the reputation destruction, the financial ruin? Is it enough now? What do you want me to say? I want you to say you'll stop, that you won't keep pushing until there's nothing left of us. I stopped weeks ago. The LinkedIn post was the end. Everything since then has been consequences, not me. But you set it in motion. You set it in motion when you opened your door and called me a beggar. His voice broke. I know. I know. We did this. All of it. I'm just asking. Wilma's 62. She's lost everything. Isn't that punishment enough? You think I'm punishing her now? I'm not even thinking about her anymore. Barton stood slowly. His cheap Target shoes looked uncomfortable. Can I ask you something? Honestly? Go ahead. Was it worth it? All the planning, the revenge, the destruction? Do you feel better now? I looked across the pond, watched the water reflect clouds. I feel tired. That's not an answer. Yes, it is. I won't bother you again. Neither will Wilma. I'll make sure of it. DeWitt's gone for good. He won't come back to Chicago. The lawsuit's dropped. It's over. Barton. He stopped. Yeah? I didn't ruin your life. You ruined it yourselves when you decided to judge a person by their clothes instead of their character. That's the lesson here. Not revenge. Character. He nodded, turned, walked away with that new limp, getting smaller until he disappeared around the corner. I sat for 12 more minutes, timed it on my watch. Families packed up picnic blankets. The park emptied slowly. My phone buzzed. Cassandra Walsh. The 5 of us are meeting with an attorney Friday. Civil suit against DeWitt for fraud. Will you testify if needed? I typed yes and sent it. Another buzz. Nina Pasternak. Thank you for exposing him. You saved whoever would have been row 6. I didn't respond to that one. Didn't know what to say. The sun angled lower. I stood, joints stiff, and walked to my car. At a stoplight on Clark Street, I saw a homeless man holding cardboard. Anything helps. I rolled down my window, handed him a 20. Thank you, sir. Bless you. The light changed. My reflection in the rearview mirror showed a 68-year-old man who looked 70. The revenge aged me. Maybe that's the cost nobody mentions. At home, I made coffee, took Velma's engagement ring from my desk drawer, set it on the counter. Evidence, artifact, symbol. I wasn't sure which. The doorbell rang at 6:42. Velma stood there, looking worried and tired and older than 29. "Dad," she said, "we need to talk about what happens next." 3 months later, I cooked chicken. Real effort went into it. Cloth napkins, china plates, vegetables roasted properly. Willa was home from Kenya for the first time in 18 months. Velma coming for dinner. Both daughters at my table. First time since the engagement ended. The atmosphere was warm but careful. Everyone avoiding landmines. "This chicken is actually good, Dad. When did you learn to cook?" "When you two moved out and I got tired of takeout." Velma smiled. "He's being modest. He took classes at the community center." "Cooking classes? Oh, Orville Thornton and community cooking classes? They're useful. Plus, the instructor was 65 and single. Figured I should keep my options open." "Dad?" "I'm joking. She was 70 and very married." We ate. Talked about safe things. Willa's cholera patients. Velma's boutique management job. My agency continuing normally. Nobody mentioned DeWitt or the Youngs until dessert. Willa set down her fork. "Okay, we've talked about inventory systems for 20 minutes. Are we going to acknowledge the elephant in the room?" "Willa." "What?" "We're all thinking about it. Villa's ex-fiancé turned out to be a con artist. Dad systematically destroyed his life. The whole thing went viral. And now we're discussing chicken recipes like it's normal." My hands shook slightly, carrying dishes to the sink. Arthritis worse from stress. Willa noticed. Didn't comment. "What do you want me to say?" "I want you to tell me if it was worth it. Barton Young asked me the same question 3 months ago." "What did you tell him?" "That I was tired." "And now, 3 months later, still tired?" Velma's voice was quiet. "I never properly thanked you, Dad. For exposing DeWitt. For stopping me from making the biggest mistake of my life. You don't need to thank me." "Yes, I do. I was about to marry a man who saw me as a financial investment. You saved me from that." "At what cost?" She blinked. "What do you mean?" "You haven't dated anyone in 4 months. You barely answer when I ask about your personal life. I destroyed your faith in relationships." "You didn't destroy it. DeWitt did. You just showed me the truth." "The truth can be its own kind of cruelty." "Maybe. But I'd rather know than be fooled." "Would you? Really? Sometimes I wonder if you'd have been happier never knowing." After dinner, I took Willa to my watch collection room, showed her the newest edition, vintage Omega I'd bought at DeWitt's estate sale for $200, worth $3,000. Bought this when he had to liquidate everything before Nevada. The irony is perfect, right? His trash became my treasure. Willa examined it, set it down carefully. "This is sad, Dad. It's justice. It's a watch that reminds you every time you look at it that you spent 6 months destroying people. That's not justice. That's just sad. They destroyed themselves. Did they? Or did you help?" A long pause. "Both." We sat in silence. Then I confessed what I hadn't told anyone. I became someone I didn't like, someone obsessed. I paid thousands to dig up dirt. I manipulated situations, released private information publicly. You protected Velma. I could have protected her with a conversation. I chose destruction instead. They called you a beggar in front of her. And I turned their lives into a public spectacle. Which one of us went further? The doorbell rang at 8:15. Unusual late delivery. Registered letter requiring signature. I opened it at the kitchen table. Both daughters watching. The type note made my face drain color. "You won this round, old man. But the game isn't over." No signature. "Return address, Nevada." Velma grabbed it. "He's threatening you. We need to call the police." I took it back. Folded it carefully, put it in a drawer. "No, it's over. I'm done." "Just like that? You're letting it go." "What's the alternative? Chase him to Nevada? Spend the rest of my life making sure he never succeeds at anything? Some people would. I'm not some people. Not anymore. I was for a while. But I'm choosing not to be now." We moved to the back porch, 3 coffee cups catching the last autumn sunlight. Nobody spoke for several minutes. Willa broke it. "You know what's weird? 6 months ago we were planning a wedding. Now we're just Here. Here is better than there, Velma said. I nodded. Didn't speak. The watch on my wrist was my vintage Timex, not the Omega. I'd chosen it deliberately. Some treasures are about sentiment, not value. My phone buzzed. Marcus Webb. Client meeting Monday at 9 a.m. They want you specifically. Business continues. Life continues. Are we okay, Dad? Velma's voice was small. You and me? We're different, but we're okay. Different how? You see me differently now, as someone capable of calculated cruelty. That changes things. You're also the person who saved me from marrying a con artist. Both things are true. Willa's legs swung from the porch railing. So what happens now? Now I go back to running my agency. You go back to Kenya. Velma runs her boutique. Life continues. And the Youngs? The Youngs work at a small firm in Evanston, live modestly, and stay out of my life. That's enough. Wilma had sent a 6-page handwritten apology 2 months ago, genuinely remorseful, accepting full responsibility. I'd read it once, filed it away, never responded. Not from cruelty, I just had nothing to say to her. Barton sends Christmas cards now, from Rogers Park. I don't respond. But I don't throw them away either. They sit in a drawer with Wilma's letter. Evidence of what? I'm not sure. And if DeWitt comes back, he won't. And if he does, I'll deal with it. But I'm not going to sit here waiting for it. That's no way to live. We sat on that porch until the streetlights came on, until mosquitoes drove us inside, until Willa yawned and Velma checked her watch. Normal evening, normal family. Except nothing's quite normal anymore, and everyone knows it, and nobody says it. The revenge is over. The echoes remain. That's the truth nobody tells you about justice. It doesn't heal the original wound. Just creates new scars. But scars fade, eventually. Maybe. Some truths are better left unspoken. If you like this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions of this story in the comments. To listen to the next story, click on the box on the left. Thank you for watching.